In this video, here's what we'll cover: why people ask if EMDR is hypnosis, what EMDR actually is, how hypnosis is different, side by side, the 8 phases, step by step, what the evidence really shows. When people first hear how EMDR works, a very reasonable thought tends to follow. You follow my fingers back and forth while thinking about a difficult memory. Isn't that just hypnosis? It is one of the most common questions I am asked, and a fair one. Both therapies sound a little unusual the first time you hear them described. So here is the honest answer: no, EMDR is not hypnosis. They are genuinely different therapies, with different mechanisms, different research bases, and a very different experience for you as the person in the chair. First, what EMDR actually is. EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It was developed by the psychologist Francine Shapiro in the late 1980s, and it is built on an idea called the adaptive information processing model. The idea is this: your brain has a natural system for digesting experiences. Most of what happens to us gets processed and filed away as an ordinary memory, and it slowly loses its sting. But when something overwhelming happens, that filing system can jam. The memory gets stuck in its raw form, still carrying the original images, body sensations, and emotions. Months or years later, a reminder can trigger it as if it were happening right now. EMDR helps the brain finish the job it could not finish at the time. You briefly bring the stuck memory to mind while following a bilateral stimulation, which usually means my hand moving left and right, and sometimes gentle taps or tones. In sets of a few seconds, you notice whatever comes up. Then you pause, and we check in. Over the session, the charge attached to the memory tends to settle. The memory does not disappear, but it stops feeling like a live wire. And here is the crucial part: you are wide awake the whole time. You know exactly where you are. You are doing something we call holding dual attention, with one foot in the memory and one foot firmly in the safe, present-day room. Now, how is hypnosis different? It guides a person into a trance-like state of deep relaxation and focused attention, in which they become more open to suggestion. A practitioner might then offer positive suggestions for calm, for confidence, or for changing a habit. Hypnosis has legitimate uses, and it can help with relaxation and pain management. But notice what sits at its core: an altered state of consciousness and increased suggestibility. That is exactly what EMDR does not rely on. Let me line them up side by side. In EMDR you stay fully awake, alert, and oriented. In hypnosis you enter an altered, trance-like state. In EMDR you are in the driver's seat the entire time, so you can slow down, pause, or stop, and nothing happens without you. In hypnosis the practitioner guides your experience more directly. EMDR uses bilateral stimulation to help your brain reprocess a memory that is already there, while hypnosis uses verbal suggestion to introduce new ideas. And because hypnosis raises suggestibility, poorly conducted hypnosis carries a recognized risk of creating false memories. EMDR does not plant anything. It works only with what your own mind brings up. People sometimes tell me they have read that the eye movements are hypnotic. It is an understandable mix-up, because the rhythmic back and forth looks a little like the swinging watch cliché of stage hypnosis. But that resemblance is only skin deep. The eye movements are not there to lull you into a trance. They are thought to tax your working memory and engage both sides of the brain, while you hold the memory in mind, which is what helps the reprocessing along. You stay sharp, not sleepy. Many people are surprised by how grounded the process feels. One of the clearest ways to see that EMDR is not hypnosis is to look at how structured it is. EMDR follows 8 distinct phases, and most of them happen before a single eye movement is ever used on a difficult memory. First, history taking, where I get to know your story, and we identify which memories to target. Second, preparation, where you learn how it works and build practical coping tools, like a calm place you can return to. Third, assessment, where together we pinpoint a specific memory, the negative belief attached to it, and a more helpful belief you would prefer. Fourth, desensitization, the part people picture, with short sets of bilateral stimulation while you notice the memory. Fifth, installation, where you strengthen that new, helpful belief. Sixth, the body scan, Because trauma lives in the body as well as the mind. 7th, closure. So every session ends with you settled and grounded. And 8th, re-evaluation, where we check what has shifted and what to work on next. Notice how much care goes in before any memory work begins. That is the opposite of being put under. This is also where EMDR stands on very solid ground. It is not a fringe technique. It is one of the most researched trauma therapies in the world. In Australia, a national PTSD guidelines, developed by Phoenix, Australia and approved by the National Health and Medical Research Council, recommend EMDR for adults with PTSD. The World Health Organization recommends it too. If you have been carrying a memory that still feels raw, you do not have to keep white-knuckling through it. In my practice, we start with preparation and coping skills, so you're never thrown in the deep end. If you would like to explore whether EMDR fits your situation, our practice, Potentialz Unlimited in Bella Vista, is here to help. You can read the full guide, or book a first conversation, using the links below. Before you go, here's a quick recap of what we covered. Why people ask if EMDR is hypnosis. What EMDR actually is. How hypnosis is different, side by side. The 8 phases, step by step. What the evidence really shows.